3.75 ERA and 3-2 in conference. That's conference play now. But when you're the back end of Eads and Nola, I mean, just a tremendous pitching staff. I go to Destin quite a bit, and I got a good friend of mine, Steve Dominic, down there, and he's a huge LSU fan and watches them, and he kind of gave me a good scouting report on Nola, just asking me questions and then telling me some things about him. I was excited. Hopefully I'd have seen him, but I'm not. But I got Eads here today, Cody Glenn today, so this will be an exciting game for LSU. Big game for Alabama, though, because they're right on the edge there trying to get to the regional. This will be a good win for them.
The weather has cooled off a bit with all the clouds overhead. Still a little bit of blue in the sky, some filtered sunshine, temperatures in the low 80s. Not much wind to speak of, and offensively you need a gust of wind going somewhere out of this ballpark to perhaps hit a home run. We've only seen one thus far in the first 5 games. Roberts in the batter's box will start things off against the left-hander Cody Glenn, who fires the first pitch outside for ball 1. We are underway, game number 6 of this Southeastern Conference tournament. Ball 2 now to Roberts, who's hitting .251 on the year, 5 home runs and 28 driven in. Would I be safe to say we're going to see more than 3 runs? I think so. I think I'm setting the over-under on this game at 5. Okay. That one shaves the outside corner for strike 1. Alabama, before making the trip here to the SEC tournament, picked up a big win on the road against Vanderbilt in 10 innings. That came on May the 17th. That's a resume builder. A road win at Vandy this year was almost impossible to come by. Alabama's got it, and that's one of those quality wins when you're a bubble team you focus on. 2-2 pitch. The breaking ball is a beauty. A knee buckler, and Roberts is retired. Here's how we've gotten to this point. First day was single elimination, so Kentucky, Auburn, A&M, Missouri all sent packing. Today, now with the 8 teams remaining, it's all double elimination. Arkansas defeating Ole Miss in 10 innings. And Alabama now against LSU. Georgie Salem cuts and misses at another curveball for strike 1. And Salem's freshman player for Alabama. If you look up the middle, you'll see a really good defense that's really setting the future for Alabama at shortstop and second base, and then with Salem in center field. Has been moved down as the leadoff hitter, just really not as patient and needs to learn to be more patient at the bat when he's leading off. Salem is the cousin of Emil Salem, who started at Alabama not too long ago. His father played for Bear Bryant on the football team. Pop up near the mound. It'll be the third baseman, Ibarra, coming on and making the grab. 2 up, 2 down for Glenn as we look at the Tigers defensively. Ryan, Stevenson, and Laird in the outfield. Bregman is fun to watch at shortstop, just a freshman. Katz at second, Ibarra at third, Moore at first, and Ross behind home plate. Overstreet. This is Bregman. Tough play, and the throw is offline. Yeah, really tough play there for Bregman as he's got to move to his right and come in some. Good speed by Overstreet beats it out, but the ball was not hit hard enough. And not only you have to go in the hole, but you got to come up some. You see the strong arm that he's got, just a little bit off, but hustling by Overstreet to beat it out for an infield hit. First hit of the day, and now Ben Moore to the plate, the right fielder. Moore at .294, leading the team with that clip. 4 homers, 39 runs batted in. See early on, LSU pitcher Glenn's really trying to establish his breaking balls, throwing a number of breaking balls. Feels more comfortable. Sometimes pitchers come out of a bullpen at the start of the game really just not knowing the direction that the pitch is going to go sometime there. So he's got his off speed and his breaking ball going now, which will eventually feed back into his fastball. Crimson Tide all-time 44-36 in the SEC tournament. They've won the second most championships. Number one in that category, LSU. Alabama has 7 titles. These two teams actually met in the 2010 championship game. The Tide won that one in 10 innings by a score of 4-3. 3 balls and a strike to Ben Moore, the right fielder. Fights it off. Count evens up 3-2. Off the thumbs, popped up near the dugout, and I don't know if that was out of the reach or perhaps in the reach, but Moore did not make the play.
Well, the wind's kind of blowing out towards left center field, and notice any ball that's hit kind of on the right side, the ball's going to have a tendency to come back in.
Yeah, he could have made it.
Yeah, Moore comes in there, and really, I don't know if he got enough help from his players as to where he was, because that play should have been made. It's off the end of his glove. You know, you're in friendly confines over there with your own dugout, right. So those guys are going to be helping you. Whereas over in that Alabama dugout, you know, they're going to do everything they can to mess you up.
You need a little navigation right there, a little GPS. Fights off the 3-2. We'll do it again. Bama finishing 14-15 in SEC play this year. Pretty strong RPI, though. That win over Auburn goes a long way. Looking at some of the projections earlier today, a lot of people have Bama as a number 3 seed right now. Another payoff. Chopped to third. Tricky hop. Fielded nicely by Ibarra, who rifles across the diamond in time for out number 3. Bottom of the first coming up. No score.
To win the Capital.
Fans finding seats wherever they can. Tickets a little bit harder to come by for this ball game. LSU Tigers coming in at 48-8, led by Paul Maneri, who's done a tremendous job with this program. Very good lineup. McMullen, Laird, Bregman, all lethal. Katz, the most lethal in terms of power. Rafe Rhymes, who won a batting title a year ago. He led the nation in hitting. Christian Ibarra follows, then Tyler Moore, Ty Ross, and Andrew Stevenson, the starting center fielder. Rhymes, by the way, hitting .349. Sullivan warming up on the mound right now for Alabama. 15th start of the year, 5-5, a 2.39 earned run average. Comes in as their ace of the staff, and he was their Friday night pitcher. Just hard nose, comes right at you with a good hard fastball, mixing a changeup. Good slider, curveball that breaks sharp, kind of his out pitch. Something that in this situation here, he knows that he's got to be careful against this tough LSU offense. Make the pitches that he wants, keep the ball down, and as we've seen, if you get the ball up, you're not going to get hurt near as much in this park as you have been in some other, maybe at home or some other parks, because you have really got to crank one to get it out of this park. Just one home run thus far, and maybe a handful of balls have even reached the lip of the warning track. McMullen to start things off, the designated hitter. .326, 2 homers, 26 driven in. And the righty fires the fastball over for strike 1. Line shot off the glove of the leaping third baseman Roberts and in the left field, and then it gets right through the wickets of Miller. Heading for third now is McMullen, and he'll be there.
got lefty on lefty here in McMullen. He's going to take a pitch. It's away from him on a slider that's away. Roberts does everything he can to stop the ball, but just gets to him. And then Andrew Miller, don't know what he was thinking about, just boots the ball. And fortunately, it didn't go all the way to the wall, or else McMullen would have come all the way around to score.
That's a single and a two-base error, and a costly one. With Mark Laird coming to bat, 291 on the year, no homers, 16 driven in. The freshman. This will score a run. Laird give him an RBI ground out, 6-3 for out number one, but the Tigers strike first.
They do, and there's nothing wrong with that. Just a heads-up batting there by Mark Laird. The defense is playing back, so Alabama's going to give you the run. So they're back. Laird just gets the ball in play, drives in the run. LSU takes the lead. You got to put a star by that.
Now Alex Bregman. Talented freshman hitting .388, 5 homers, 49 driven in. Not a big guy, but boy, does he have a powerful swing. It's short, compact. You see where he finished this year, 3rd in the SEC in batting with his buddy Mason Katz. How about Tony Kemp for Vanderbilt?
Yeah, Tony Kemp just had a tremendous year. After kind of last year was kind of so-so, but just really moving from the outfield to second base. I think he lost a little concentration there with his batting, but this year he was so valuable to that Vanderbilt team.
Bregman is a young man who was highly regarded his senior year in high school. Then he had a hand injury that kept him out. That dropped his draft stock. Tigers didn't think they were going to ever see him come to campus, but because of the injury in high school, they were able to land him. And the rest is history, and it's been good history for Alex Bregman, who strokes one down the line and will coast in the second with a stand-up double.
LSU is coming out and being aggressive today. He gets a fastball on the inner half of the plate there, and Bregman pulls it down the line between Kenny Roberts, third baseman, and the bag. You see just good top hand there and drives the ball through for a double.
And now Mason Katz. .388, 14 homers, 64 driven in. A sensational year for Katz. Katz just 5'10", 188 pounds.
That's solid. That's a solid 5'10".
Well, exactly, and generates tremendous bat speed. He became the first LSU player to homer in 5 straight games since Brad Cressy did it in '98. I remember Cressy. He was a heck of a player.
He was.
1-1 is smoked but foul. I tell you what, right now, Charlie Sullivan is fooling no one.
He is not, because one thing is, Mike, he does not have any, has not been able to get his breaking ball or his changeup across plate. Everything has been a fastball that LSU is just right now, they're sitting on his fastball and raking it. And until he can get some control or get some consistency with his off-speed stuff, LSU is going to sit on a fastball. There's a breaking ball there, it's out of the strike zone. You talk about Brad Cressy, when I was with the Dodgers, his dad, Mark Cressy, was our bullpen coach.
Is that right?
And I remember when Brad was in school, came to Auburn, and we got together a few times there when LSU came to town.
Cressy was a hard-hitting catcher and DH for the Tigers. 2-2 pitch. He was a member of that 2000 national championship squad.
Yep.
LSU has had some great ones come through their program over the years.
Yeah, his dad, Mark, had a great arm. He was just good for batting practice.
Katz Fights off the payoff pitch at the plate. We'll do it again. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Kind of an off-speed pitch there that Katz is out in front of. And in this situation for Sullivan, you've got to make your pitch because you've got just a great batter up there. But in this situation, you've got to stay with your off-speed. But when you do, you've got to keep it down because Katz is such a great fastball hitter. You've really got to mix your pitches.
That'll be ball 4, 2 on, 1 out. Sullivan on the ropes a little bit here in the first inning. Rafe Rhymes, one of the top hitters in college baseball, will try to put a crooked number on the board with a hit here.
Well, and that's the thing. McMullen starts out with a base hit and then a 2-base error, but they just keep coming up. I mean, there's nothing easy about this lineup to this point.
Rhymes, the way I would describe him, he's a spray ball hitter. He just sprays it all over the field. Not a ton of pop, but a very difficult out. Runners going. Little dribbler back to the pitcher. Tough throw. And rounding third and coming home on the play is Bregman for the second run of the inning.
I mean, Brett Booth, I do not know what he was thinking on this play. There's no way he can make a play even if he were to grab the ball because his momentum is carrying him, and with the speed of Rhymes, I mean, you'll see here that Booth's going to go out and his momentum is going towards second. This is completely Sullivan's ball, his call, and then Booth gets in the way instead of protecting home plate. Heads up running by LSU as Bregman comes around from second. You see him, he's looking at home plate, watching the play in front of him. Exceptional baseball right there by LSU.
Keeping the pressure on, so they get the second out of the inning. Bama does, but LSU steals a run to make it 2-0, and now a bar at the plate.
Well, it's really surprising on the part of Brett Booth, catcher for Alabama, because I mean, he's a senior, been catching all year, and he's really the leader of this team. And for him to make a mental mistake, that's really cost Alabama a run.
Ibarra was a big pickup. Junior college kid out of California, Rio Hondo Community College. Finished 11th in the league in slugging. And he's been really solid at third base as well. Sullivan wheels and deals the 3-1. Line shot up the middle, base hit, and that'll make it 3-0. Katz trots home, and Sullivan continues to get stung here in the first.
Well, again, just getting back, you cannot live on fastballs alone. No matter how hard you throw it, good batters are going to catch up to that. This situation here, just another fastball, and Ibarra just drives it out over the plate and drives it in center field for an RBI single.
We've already had as many runs as we had in 10 innings in the last game.
Unless Sullivan finds his off-speed or breaking ball, we're going to see plenty more.
The other thing about this LSU lineup, it's hard to find a hole in it.
Yeah. Well, and that's what we talked about at the start of the game. I mean, just from 1 to 9, and if you hear the other coaches talk about them, it's just not 2 or 3 guys leading this offense. It is number 1 to number 9. And that just speaks great for this ball club and Coach Maneri and what he's developed there at LSU.
Ward takes one below the knees. The count 2 balls and a strike on the first baseman. Moore, a hometown product out of Baton Rouge. How many athletes does that city produce? Baseball, basketball, football, it's ridiculous. That's a foul ball.
Come on, battle hard now. Here we go. You got two?
Runner on the go, and it's fouled back again.
Hey, way to battle. Way to battle. You battle.
He's fouled off. Moore's fouled off 2 pitches above his head. I don't know what he's thinking.
Come on, hey, keep swinging now. Keep
He's
battling.
keeping this at bat going.
All right.
This one in fair territory, and it's grounded to short. And making the play is the sure-handed White for out number 3. But 7 Tigers come to the plate. 3 runs on 3 hits. We head to the second. 3-0 LSU.
The 2013 SEC Baseball Tournament on CSS is brought to you in part by Tony Chachere's. Tony Chachere's makes everything taste great.
Mike Morgan alongside Joe Beckwith here on a Wednesday afternoon. Alabama, LSU, 2 teams synonymous with success in this SEC baseball tournament over the years, going head-to-head as Mikey White hits the first pitch on the ground to second for out number 1. White, the talented freshman shortstop out of Birmingham, who was the Alabama Gatorade Baseball Player of the Year. White and Overstreet turned a double play yesterday that was one of the finest defensive plays you'll see all year.
It was. I mean, just White was coming up the middle and just kind of smothered the ball, and it was almost he just flipped it over his head.
This will be the second pitch for the second out. 1 on the ground, 1 in the air as Smith is retired, and that'll bring up Brett Booth, the catcher.
I've had an opportunity to see Alabama a couple times this year, and what Mitch Gaspard is building for the Alabama program is going to be great, because it starts up the middle, and when you've got Overstreet and White, and then Salem in center, and they're all true freshmen, and really they've paid their dues this summer. I mean, this season they've made some mistakes, but they've learned a great deal, and they're only going to get better. You know, at the start of the season, their hitting was down, but they've improved that, you know, because of really the shock of playing and starting in the SEC.
The catcher is Brett Booth, hitting .279 on the year with 6 home runs.
You know, and Booth, the senior leader for this team, and has really brought those kids on that I was talking about. Just talking to Mitch, that the leadership that Booth has given them has been tremendous.
Booth out of Northport, Alabama, Tuscaloosa County High School. .3-1 delivery, right on the inner half for strike 2. You know, the guys over there at Talking SEC Baseball recently had a poll of the greatest catchers of all time in the SEC. Jeremy Brown of Alabama was number 1. He was a great one. Brown was 1, Landon Powell was 2. Having the chance to cover both those guys, they were 2 exceptional players.
You know, Glenn's got a fastball that's going to be in the low 90s, but he's got a sharp slider, what they call a razor slider.
It's a mile-high pop-up into the clouds. And finally down into the glove. Ibarra for route number 3. 1, 2, 3. Go the Tide. We go to the home half. 3-0 LSU. But a breeze nonetheless here in Hoover, Alabama, where the Tigers lead the Crimson Tide by a score of 3-0. A reminder to stay up to date with the experts of Southern College sports. You can tweet the gang at CSS Sports, or myself at Morgan On Air. Joe Bethwick's page still under construction. And you can also go to Facebook.com. Are you on Facebook? Or are you?
I'm sorry. I've yet to figure that out.
You've got a cell phone though, right?
I do have a cell phone.
And you use the internet?
I can do emails.
Do you use an abacus or a slide rule? Or a calculator?
Excuse me.
Ty Ross to start things off, 8th man of the order.
But just remember, though, for you that want to talk to us, you can tweet us at Morgan On Air.
On Air, that's right. If you were just a fan of Joe Beckwith, you're saying, I can't find his phone number, I can't find his Facebook, his Twitter, you can just go through me. I'll be the go-between for your fan club.
That's it.
Ross at 212 on the year. Takes one down, though. It's a big inning for Charlie Sullivan. Got touched up quite a bit in the first. See how he bounces back.
Yeah, I mean, he's still trying to. There was a breaking ball there out of the zone, 0-2. I mean, that's his out pitch. He's got to be able to throw that around the plate and try to get the batters to chase it. As he gets ahead 0-2, then see, now he's come back with 2 breaking balls. They've been out of the zone. And he's just really not comfortable with that pitch yet. But here again, he cannot survive this game on a fastball alone.
Chop to first. Two-handed stab by Smith, who will take matters in his own hands as he goes to the bag for out number 1. 9th man in the order is the center fielder, Andrew Stevenson.
You know, and it's like we've mentioned before, Mike, that this park is so big that you can get away with fastballs up in the zone. Is that pitch there to Ross? It was a fastball that was up. He was just more or less protecting himself on that swing to ground out to first. But you can pitch up in this park because balls are just not going to fly out of here.
Sullivan's out of Oxford, Mississippi. I wonder if he grew up a Rebel fan. That's usually the rule around there. 1-1 burns the inside corner for strike 2.
Come on, battle hard now.
Sullivan goes 6'1", 190, a senior. One shot and look out. We saw one last night where a souvenir cup might have saved a woman's life, and she was right there on the front row over the dugout on the first base side. Somebody hit a liner and it left a big old dent in a souvenir cup.
They did. Just above the first base dugout, and how they got out of the way.
Again Smith. Again 3 unassisted. 2 up, 2 down. Well, we've got you covered all day long for the SEC tournament. Coming up next, it'll be Texas A&M taking on the Vanderbilt Commodores, the #1 seed. And then later on tonight, Mississippi State battles the South Carolina Gamecocks. Gamecocks with another quality season under first-year head coach Chad Holbrook, who's done a terrific job with that program. A smooth transition from Ray Tanner to Chad Holbrook. McMullen waits on the 1-0. In there for a strike.
You know, it's interesting about Chad Holbrook.
Come on, Sean, here we go.
When he became the assistant coach after Ray Tanner had been named the head coach, Holbrook came to the press conference at that time, slipped him a note, and said that he would like to be considered as an assistant coach.
Well, he's got some family ties there to Columbia. And as soon as Ray Tanner could hire him, he didn't waste any time. And I think it was Pretty much understood that eventually would be Holbrook's job if he wanted it. 1-2 pitch got him frozen on the inside corner. McMullen thought it was inside. He doesn't get a vote. 1-2, 3-0 across for the Tigers in the second. We head to the third. It's still 3-0 LSU.
The 2013 SEC Baseball Tournament on CSS is brought to you in part by Mizuno, helping teams find that next level of greatness since 1906. Mizuno, never settle.
Top of the third gets started with a pitch out of the zone to Andrew Miller for ball one. Miller, the starting left fielder for the Tide. Glenn, who really has served as the number 3 starter this year, but lately with the change in the schedule and going from Friday through Sunday to Thursday through Saturday, they've kind of maneuvered it where he has been the guy pitching in game one.
Right.
But Nola and Eads, who eventually will make appearances in this tournament, those are the two aces, and boy, that is one heck of a dynamic duo for any rotation.
Well, and it's what this does. I mean, it sets up for like LSU and then even Arkansas today, what we saw. But it gives them an opportunity to hold back their top pitchers. Not saying that Glenn is a top pitcher.
That curveball just got away on a 2-2 pitch. Miller will gladly take the base.
You see here's a kind of an off-speed breaking ball that just hangs up. Really did not kind of come through with it. Again, that's a kind of a question. We've seen a couple of guys get hit, and it's kind of questionable if you really make an effort to get out of the way.
Right. And technically a home plate umpire in that situation, if he deems that you did make no attempt to get out of the way, he can take you back, not award you the base. Vincent, 9th man in the order, the starting designated hitter at .210 on the year.
You know, when you have the luxury that they do of Nola and Eads, just almost comparable stats, but when you have the luxury of them, now they're going to pitch your second and your third games, which that's really going to put you deep into the tournament.
Right.
And, you're starting your number 3 guy here today. And it just shows what Paul Maneri's, he kind of set this up the last couple of weeks when he moved Glenn into their opening weekend starter. Because last week he started on Thursday night against Ole Miss, which put him in this position.
Lazy fly to left. Bermuda Triangle formulating before Rhymes calls everybody off and makes the play.
I think Rhymes has been watching all these other defenses. That was a long run, and normally the way some of these outfielders have been playing, they just take a couple steps in and catch the ball. What it just tells me, Mike, is what Paul Maneri did is really he set up for this tournament. His pitching staff having confidence in his number 3 pitcher can go out on his opening day, knowing he's going to get a bye for one. His number 3 guy can come in on the first game and pitch, and then he's got his 2 aces going Thursday and Friday, and then next thing he's in the weekend.
1-1 to count on the leadoff man, Kenny Roberts, who struck out his first time up. Alabama led by head coach Mitch Gaspard, who actually started his playing career at LSU back in 1984. Ball is smoked but foul. And of course, he was a long-time assistant under Jim Wells in those glory years in the late 90s. Multiple trips to Omaha in the College World Series.
I've been impressed with Mitch, the way he's handled this team. I mean, it's a very young, inexperienced team, and as they have grown throughout the year, I mean, just become a better ball club. As I mentioned, I mean, he's just building himself for the future, and to have that many young kids playing for you, especially in key positions, it just really says a lot for his ability to run this club.
2-2 pitch off the thumbs. Foul ground, playable, and just out of the reach of the diving Moore. Had to get the ball boy out of the way.
Well, I was going to say the ball boy, not the most experienced of all ball boys there. He was almost right in the middle of the play. Then you got your right fielder coming over Laird, and watch. You can see the ball boy just to the right of the screen. And Moore gave it everything he could, but the ball boy there. I mean, you got to watch out, son. Those kids, those ball players are coming, or they'll be right there on you. It was his TV time for the weekend.
Yeah, first time we've mentioned a ball boy this whole tournament. 5 to 4 to 3, double play around the horn for the LSU infield, and a twin killing ends it in the third. Home half coming up. LSU on top, 3-0. Our score here, 3-0, as we get ready for the bottom of the third. Don't forget to tune in after this game for Tournament Central from SEC Baseball Weekly. It'll be Bob Vasella as he updates you on the latest SEC tournament news and highlights. Keep watching all week long for ongoing updates from SEC Baseball Weekly and SEC Tonight. Mike and Joe with you. Game 2 today. Joining us late. Earlier it was a pitcher's duel between the Arkansas Razorbacks and the Ole Miss Rebels. The Razorbacks winning it a walk-off wild pitch in the bottom of the 10th by a score of 2-1 as Laird hits the comebacker for out number 1.
He starts him off with, he's still got to continue to try to throw his off-speed pitches. And Sullivan leads Laird off with an off-speed just for a strike. Just lays that in there, and then he comes back with another slider. So that's important right now for Sullivan, is to continue to gain confidence in your off-speed and your breaking ball to set up that fastball.
That'll find a spot in the outfield grass. A base hit for Bregman. His second hit, he doubled back in the first. 2 for 2 for the freshman. You want to talk about lethal 1-2 punches. How about this one? Bregman and Katz for LSU, both at 388. They both have some pop in the bat. Run producers. Bregman with 90 hits as a freshman. He's going to be fun to watch the next 2 years, isn't he?
Oh, my goodness.
Mason Katz has been fun to watch this year. He walked and scored his first time up.
See, Sullivan was setting up on the inside part of the plate before the pickoff. They're trying to pitch him in.
He's really the one base running threat they have. Bregman is 13 of 14 on the year. LSU doesn't run a ton. They really don't need to.
Run yourself right out of innings. See a good fastball there on the inside part of the plate, trying to tie Katz up. You know, that's what you're trying to. You don't want him to be able to extend his arms. I mean, he didn't hit 14 home runs and 64 RBIs just by laying balls in there. I mean, he's a good hitter, and teams really have to be smart at their approach with him. You're trying to keep him off the plate with fastballs in. Now you come away with something outside here. Again, it goes to show Sullivan gets ahead of Katz 0-2. He just really doesn't have that knockout pitch yet on his breaking ball. He's not comfortable with it. He can continue to throw it, but he's made some mistakes.
Bregman spun his wheels. I don't know how he got in under that tag.
Well, Austin Smith really just just took the throw and didn't make the play. You know, he wasn't thinking there. And instead of making the swipe, like you'd see him, see the break by Bregman, he's out. But Smith just takes the throw instead of making it. Really wasn't that great of a throw by Sullivan in the first place, but still, he should have taken that swipe.
Hey.
He was dead to right, there's no doubt, and he's got steel on his mind.
Cats rounds one to third. 5, 4, 3 for the double play. The same way the top of the third ended is how the bottom of the third ends. We have the fourth. Tigers still in the lead.
The 2013 SEC Baseball Tournament on CSS is brought to you in part by Third Shift Amber Lager. When beer is your calling, you never clock out.
3-0 our score. LSU leading Alabama as we get ready for the top of the fourth. The way that last inning ended, Alabama turning its 70th double play of the year. That's the third highest mark in the country. You see Mississippi State on that list at number 5. 70 double plays.
Well, and it starts up the middle, Mike, as we've talked about with Overfield and Mikey White, but these guys just do a tremendous job. Overstreet, I mean, just do a tremendous job. But then, you got to give credit to Kenny Roberts also, because these guys have played solid defense. They don't have the greatest offense in the conference, but this defense makes up for that.
Salem popped out to third. Bounces one to first. A race to the bag, and he beat it. That might be one of the few times where the head-first slide is the right call at first.
Well, maybe so. I don't agree with you, and I have had conversations about that. And for Glenn, gets a little late start. You can see him, but just a heads-up play by Salem. Because if he stands up and runs through, all Glenn's going to do is take his glove. You see him kind of try to make a swipe at him. Whereas if Salem stays up, Glenn takes a swipe, kind of at shoulder level. But there it made it a more difficult play by him sliding.
Right. The conventional wisdom is you lose some of your speed to first base when you slide. But on a play like that, to avoid a high tag, it actually makes sense.
Right.
Maybe that'll be the spark that the Alabama offense needs. The leadoff man aboard here in the top of the fourth with Kyle Overstreet coming to the plate.
Well, Alabama's not a power hitting ball club. They put pressure when they get runners on. That's how they pressure teams into making mistakes, which produces runs for them.
Pop up. We've got a lot of action over there near that LSU dugout, which is surrounded by fans dressed in purple and gold. Breaking ball sails outside. Overstreet out of Bose, Alabama. Beg your pardon, that's Boaz, Alabama.
Sorry, I wasn't paying close attention.
I took a shot.
Pose.
I'm thinking speakers for some reason. Free plug for them. I'm sure they'll appreciate that.
So the Chamber of Commerce is monitoring this game closely.
Yes.
Boaz up in North Alabama back in what was it, about 6 years ago. I took a team, a little league team out of Auburn. 12-year-olds. The state tournament was in Boaz.
There you have it.
It's a pleasure to spend 7 days in Boaz.
Is that right?
I tell you, it rained a couple of days. A lot of excitement. Now they've got some national parks up there, and some amusement, something to take the kids to.
I heard they had the keep the bars open an extra couple hours when you were in town in lovely Boaz, Alabama.
Yes, sir.
You shut it down. 3-2 to shortstop. No way. Oh, wow. I'm telling you.
I got my former manager, Tommy Lasorda, he always had 6-4-3 DP lane, my favorite street.
Watch, I mean, again, Bregman just makes it look easy. This was not an easy play.
Well, and that's the thing. These fans that are watching this game, you're going to see two of the best teams as far as up the middle with guys at second, shortstop making plays that just make it look easy. You see LSU and Alabama just leading the conference at fielding percentage, 981 to 976. And when you have guys up the middle like that, it makes pitching a lot easier.
That, by the way, is the 12th double play turned in this SEC tournament already. Bama's turned 4 of them.
I used to get a kick, though. I'd be in the dugout and somebody hit a ground ball on Tommy Lasorda. He just loved to say that. 6-4-3 DP lane, my favorite street.
Did he use the room service one on you as well? 6-4-3 room service. Ben Moore, the right fielder, hitting cleanup, rounded out the third. 1-2 the count, 2 away. LSU on top, 3-0. All 3 runs coming in the bottom of the first. Glenn sends it home and gets the pop up. Another 1-2-3 inning. The second one for Glenn. Middle of the fourth. LSU in the lead. The Enzer-mobile right there. They'll be touching down here in a moment, getting ready for games 3 and 4. And I'm sure this time around they'll be bringing a sleeping bag just in case. Don't forget, later on tonight, it is SEC tonight. 7 o'clock Eastern Time, weeknights, css-sports.com. What award-winning panel do we have tonight on SEC Tonight? Anybody know? Russ? Anthony? Bob Vasello. Reports from Brady Ackerman, who is here. Saw Brady earlier, had a chance to talk to him, and I'm sure there'll be a couple other guys with deep SEC roots. Rhymes the batter with a 1-1 count. Takes low and in. Rhymes, Zabara, and Moore. Over the plate for a strike. Good looking pitch there from Sullivan.
Yeah, it was interesting. Saw a picture last week with Rhymes. He was on the inside the park home run or a ball that was hit, whatever, but they came into home plate, ran over the catcher. All you can see his feet were straight in the air.
White, easy money the first for out number 1.
Tremendous pitcher, but that's just the way he hustles.
CSS brings the woo, give you what fans love to cheer about when it comes to Southern College sports. Live games, dedicated shows, in-depth analysis, plenty of comprehensive coverage, and more. If you don't have it, contact your provider and demand it today. Ibarra takes one outside. It's a guy that got late in the recruiting process, and he's really been a gem for him. Defensively, very good at the hot corner, and a weapon offensively as well. And an RBI single his first time up.
Let's go.
Pretty much no doubt that LSU is going to be hosting a regional, and almost a certainty they'll get one of those coveted national seeds. So the road to Omaha should be right in their home ballpark, which is a fine one at that. One of the newer ballparks, along with Carolina Stadium in Columbia. They've done remarkable work at Swayze Field in Oxford, Mississippi. Arkansas, that might as well be a triple park over there. as nice as Baum Stadium is in Fayetteville. Payoff to Ibarra, popped it up back our way and out of play. You know, Joe, you and I were talking off the air last night about the state of college baseball in the state of Alabama. You know, in the 90s, it seemed like every year at least Auburn or Alabama was in Omaha, if not both. But since then, there's been a bit of a slump. That's something that at some point I'm sure everybody wants to address. Bouncer to short. And as usual, White is flawless on the play.
Well, it is, and I get asked all the time about Auburn and their baseball program being down. And you can't take away from what Alabama has been down also. But years ago, when the lottery came into effect in different states, it really has helped a number of the teams. And take the state of Georgia, for example, they have the lottery there, the Hope Scholarship. And then, if a kid from Georgia has a B or better average, I mean, he can go to Georgia on tuition. And when you're only offered, you can only offer 11.5 scholarships per team. Yeah, for Auburn and Alabama, they've got to make those scholarships count, and it's difficult here. And then also they had a similar 90-mile radius. Any school or out of state that was within 90 miles, the out-of-state tuition was waived. The state of Alabama got rid of that 6-7 years ago. So that again is difficult for Mitch Gaspard and John Pulowski to be recruiting in-state players or out-of-state players trying to come to Auburn, and it's just not easy. So it's like I had that question. I think that Auburn and Alabama both, they're going to have good teams. Don't get me wrong, but still, it's going to be difficult to be consistent on a year-to-year basis as your LSU, South Carolina, and Florida.
2-pitch is right over the dish. Not sure what Moore was looking for, but a great pitch by Sullivan, who has settled in nicely after a hard and rocky first inning.
On CSS is brought to you in part by Tony Chachere's. Tony Chachere's makes everything taste great.
Plenty of good concessions here if you want to check it out. If you've never been to Hoover Met, great venue. Been here every year now. The SEC tournament has since 1998. They took a pit stop in Columbus, Georgia in '97, and that was the last time they've tried it anywhere else. Looks like it's here to stay for a long time to come. A ballpark which no longer is the home of the Birmingham Barons. They've got a new downtown stadium.
Yeah, and that's it's convenient too for all the clubs in the conference, with the exception of maybe Texas A&M and Missouri. But still, it's easy to get to. It's a good location. The biggest thing, as we've talked about, maybe the conference might want to look at bringing these fences in, since now the Birmingham Barons have moved downtown. They're no longer here, and so you got high school games and then high school football games in the stadium, and then really the only college event is the SEC tournament. So you might want to try to get a little bit more offense in it and make some adjustments with the fences.
What do you think, 10 feet?
I'd say more like 15.
15. Fly ball, left center. And the catch is made by Stevenson to retire White for out number 1. Check out CSS-sports.com's new look with more blogs, polls, and show highlights. Want to find out what Southern College team CSS is covering next? Go to CSS-sports.com today.
Teams today, Mike, are building their teams really around speed, defense, and pitching. There's a pitch just really just kind of hands get a little wet. Ball just came out, but really teams are building on pitching 1, defense 2, and speed. Not so much power anymore.
One to Smith in there for a strike. Well, again, I mean, home runs are down over 100% from 3 years ago. They've been averaging less than a half a home run a game. 1-1, fly ball, left center field. This is a ball hit extremely well, and Joe, if you move the fences in like you're proposing, that's a home run.
That's a home run, but that's a home run I think in just about every park in the SEC right there.
Yeah.
There's not a park around that's going to hold that ball. And here it's just a long fly ball. It's like they were saying, good wood, one out. You know, good aluminum, one out.
Smith gives it a ride close to 390 feet or so. It's nothing more than a noisy out. And now Brett Booth, the batter. There's a line shot, base hit, third hit of the day for the Tide. Alabama made the College World Series in '96, '97, and '99. Mitch Gaspard was an assistant under Jim Wells on those teams. Auburn made it in '94 and '97. Neither Alabama school has made it from 2000 on.
And again, it gets back to what we discussed, that the lottery's changed a lot. And it's these lottery states, schools have benefited from it.
There you look at the history of the Alabama program going back to 1892. All-time winningest program in SEC history. 14 SEC championships, 7 tournament championships, 5 trips to Omaha, and twice the runner-up, including as recently as 1997. That '83 team, that's the Dave Magadan years, right?
Right.
What an unbelievable player he was.
Take Magadan there at Alabama, and Palmero over at Mississippi State, and left-hander batter and Jack Clark.
Will Clark.
Not Will Clark. I mean, Will Clark. They're just tremendous. And that's another thing that's helped these programs with these major leaguers. They've come back. And you go over to Starkville at Mississippi State, and Will Clark and Palmero, they've given back to the university and built helped build facilities there. Buck Showalter played back in my day, back in the mid-'70s. Real quiet when you talk about that.
1-2 pitch, got him. Knee Buckler sits Miller down. So a 2-out single by Booth is all the Tide can muster. We are halfway home, and LSU still leads it 3-zip.
He has. You know, they hit us with a flurry there in the first and made a couple mistakes and helped a little bit. But since then, I feel like he's throwing the ball really good right now.
All right, Coach, thank you so much for the time.
Okay, guys, thanks.
That's Coach Mitch Gaspard of Alabama. And Charlie Sullivan, who did have that rough go of it in the first inning, has really settled down and threw 29 pitches in the first inning. And in the last 3 innings combined, he's only thrown 44. So give the senior credit. After facing the adversity, he has bounced back well. We'll see how he does here against Ross, Stevenson, and McMullen. 8-9-1 in the LSU attack. The list is long of LSU players now in Major League Baseball. Alabama's got a young man. You don't hear a bunch about him in the Southeast, but over in Colorado, Josh Rutledge. Remember that name. He's a good-looking second baseman. That's a bullet up the middle. Diving stop by Overstreet. No way. That would have been unbelievable if he could have somehow turned that. Just to get to that ball was amazing.
I was going to stop you there because, like we've been talking all day, you can see this. And Overstreet just goes up the middle. I mean, that's the thing with these two kids up there for Alabama in the middle. You can't give up on it. And they don't. They just make tremendous plays.
Infield hit, baby.
Stevenson's 0 for 1. These two teams met in the regular season. LSU took 2 out of 3. The one win, as the runner goes, That'll keep him out of the double play, 1 away.
Yeah, that's good coaching there. Just at the bottom of the lineup, you start your players running. Try to make Alabama make a mistake. There you move the runner up.
I was going to say the one win for Alabama in the series came on April the 21st. They won it in extra innings, 4-3. But Cody Glenn was the pitcher in that game. Same guy on the bump today for LSU, and he was very effective. 8 innings, just 1 earned run, and just 4 base runners. Who do you think that favors, Joe, when two teams have faced one another, the hitter or the pitcher?
Well, it should be the hitter. When you place each other a couple of times, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, the hitter, because he's become familiar.
Dribbler to short. Close play, but finally turned in by White at shortstop for the second out of the inning.
And the thing is if you look at teams that really hadn't seen a pitcher, that first time through the lineup, you might see some awkward swings or some things happen that you won't the second, third time through as they've seen them. And that's why you keep the scouting report. These coaches do a tremendous job of scouting report, making phone calls to other coaches, really have an idea of how to defense or how to pitch these hitters before they even see them.
Laird watches the 0-1 sail below the knees. 1 ball, 1 strike the count.
Take a look at Ross out there at second base. I mean, he is just really getting a pretty good lead. By the time that Sullivan's throwing that ball, he's almost halfway down the line.
One to second. On 2 hops. Side retired. Charlie Sullivan is a much better looking pitcher than he was in the first. Time to get him some runs, though. Still 3-0 LSU.
To win the capital
win here as well.
And who could blame him? Winning is winning. Momentum's a good thing. Really nothing bad that comes out of winning this event if you don't tax your pitching too much. But when you look at Paul Mainieri, what he has done, you know, an underrated note on Paul Mainieri. He takes Notre Dame to the College World Series in 2002 and then leaves shortly thereafter. Since then, Notre Dame has not made a single NCAA tournament. That's really all you have to know about the job he did there, and of course already winning a national title with the LSU program. Vincent takes a breaking ball strike. Freshman DH, 9th man in the order. 0-2. Off the plate outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Up the middle. Terrific effort by Katz. I tell you what, it's almost like the infielders in this game are all trying to outdo one another.
I'm telling you, you've got some of the best. You got some of the best up the middle from both sides, and you see Katz going over to his right. First of all, to get to the ball is tremendous, and then he trying to make a backhand as Bregman's coming over. His momentum is going towards first. It would have been a great play.
Fourth hit of the game for Alabama. Second time the Tide have had the leadoff man on. Kenny Roberts 0 for 2, a strikeout. and hit into a double play. Lazy fly to right. Laird is there. One gone.
We have not seen a ball come close to the wall in right field.
No. No, I was thinking maybe the lip of the warning track today to left a couple times. Yeah. Nothing to center that even remotely had a chance. And you're right, nothing to right field.
You know, and Stevenson for LSU, he's really come in since the start of the game. Playing much shallower now.
It used to be when I'd come out here to call a game, I'd reference the fact that this is a great ballpark for triples.
Oh, yeah.
Now with the new bats, in order to hit a triple, you have to get the ball past the outfield.
You do. I mean, you can hit a double without even getting to the warning track.
Yeah.
Because there's so much room in the gaps. There's tremendous room in the gaps.
But what's lost with the lack of power now with the new bats, it's not just the home runs. A ball that goes to the alley that would make it to the wall now stops and it's just a single.
Yeah.
Fly ball to left. Rhymes has it measured. 2 away. That's that time of year. I think we are now 99 days by my count away from the start of college football season. Tony Barnhart, Derek Rackley, Bob Neal, and Brady Ackerman return for the summer edition of Talkin' Football every week, all summer long on CSS. You a football fan, Joe?
Oh, I love football. Can't say much for Auburn's football program last couple of years, but I love Auburn. Pull for Auburn football.
Gus Malzahn, was that to your liking?
Yeah, I think it's a good hire by Jay Jacobs. I think what Gus has already brought to the community, you know, he's out in the community, involved, and people have seen him. And I think the Auburn alumni at different associations, they've done the same, which was different than what maybe Chiswick had brought to it.
This ball hit on the screws, but right at Rhymes for out number 3. The leadoff single, and then 1, 2, 3 go to tied. LSU 3, Bama nothing. On. The Aggies will be next against the Vanderbilt Commodores, 2 of the top table setters in the SEC, Mikey Reynolds and Tony Kemp, who won the batting title this year, hitting .408 and 27 steals to go along with it. Texas A&M knocking out Florida yesterday in a game we had for you. The Aggies trying to make things interesting in their first ever SEC baseball tournament. Well, this might be the best 1-2-3 punch in college baseball. Bregman, Katz, Rhymes, back to back to back. A lot of teams have a good 1-2 punch. You find me a better 1-2-3 punch than this one.
And they came out early swinging today. And talk about Bregman doubling. Katz did walk.
Under the glove of the diving White and into center. Bregman with his 3rd hit of the game.
You know, and they're just not just bloop hits. I mean, these are good, solid base hits. You see here, just a ball that kind of hung up on him, and just takes a good swing and hits it in left center field.
This is the 3rd game you and I have had. Just the sound of the ball coming off the bat with LSU is different.
It's completely different. I mean, we noticed that there in the first inning.
There you see some background on Bregman, what he did in high school in New Mexico. He's from Albuquerque. Again, he was drafted in the 29th round. That would have been much higher. Some believe he would have been a first-round pick had he stayed healthy his senior year in high school. So, in recruiting terms, he basically is a steal for LSU. So often when you sign a young man that highly regarded, you do so knowing there's a good chance he'll never step foot on campus. Bregman this year now in 4 games against Alabama, 10 hits in 20 at-bats.
Let's go.
Sullivan surrendering all 3 runs in the first inning. He's put 4 goose eggs on the board since then.
Mike, I'm sorry about my social media lack of skills, but I did get a text that we do have some friends back in Louisiana, in Amite, Louisiana, as a matter of fact.
Is that right?
Kirk Hood and her family are watching, and they've tweeted me and you on the TV.
Oh,
there.
my goodness, I like that.
So how about that? I've advanced.
Is it your good side? I don't have a good side. Base hit, taking third. Bregman, he's there, and now on the throw. Oh, they say he slid off the bag. I'm going to say he's taking second. On the throw was Katz.
And it's a hustling play. Katz hits the ball up the middle, and then for Bregman, he's on full go once he sees the ball hit. Right fielder Ben Moore comes over, makes a good throw. Bregman and then comes off the base, tries to make the play with his hand. You see him kind of come off.
Yep.
Yeah, and that was
a
good argument there for Roberts. Just kind of shoved him off the bag there, maybe with his, he applied a hard tag, and Bregman's hands comes off the base.
Little gamesmanship there. And here's some oohing and eyeing now from the LSU fans watching it on replay. There's no question his hand left the bag. It's a big break for Sullivan.
Yes, it is.
Rafe Rhymes trying to join in on the hit parade. 7 of them now for LSU. He's 0 for 2. This guy came out of nowhere last year to lead the nation in hitting. Same junior college as the man we just talked about for Texas A&M, Mikey Reynolds.
And that's the thing. I have parents come up to me asking me, well, my kid have a chance to play, or, should he go to a major college, or should he, where should he go to school? And the thing I tell them is, if you've got the heart and desire and you want to play ball, you need to go play somewhere, whether it be a small college or a junior college. And you take kids like Ralph Rhymes, coming out of a junior college now, he's made a name for himself, and he's just a tremendous ball player. And he's going to carry on to the big leagues, or to professional baseball. And there are so many kids out there that want to play and have that heart and that drive, but you have to go out and do it.
2-2.
Don't take no until you just can't do it anymore, and you've proven to yourself.
Rhymes against Sullivan in the regular season back in April was 3 for 3 with 3 runs batted in. 0 for 2 thus far today. Katz straying off the bag at second. That's a very Rhymes-like swing with 2 strikes. He will do everything he can to avoid the strikeout. He has no intention of putting this ball in play. He just dives over the plate to stay alive.
Well, and that's important. That just shows the value of he's not a power hitter. He's just a spray hitter. Put the ball in action. The Katz out there on second base, and he was dancing around. You can just see just the pitches away. Look, he's just trying to make contact, take that ball to right. good hitters, they're not going to try to pull every pitch. And you get a pitch like that that's away, he did exactly what he needed to do, was try to take it right.
Count fills up, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Coming into this game, Rafe Rhymes, 26 strikeouts in 211 at bats. Another 2-strike pitch here. Golfs it to left field.
And he took a little bit off that pitch, had him out front.
And a routine out for Miller.
That's something early on. That first inning, Charlie Sutherland did not have was his off-speed stuff breaking ball. He's really settled in. And he's had LSU kind of swinging at some, kind of on their heels about some defensive swings.
Now Ibarra, 1 out of 2, an RBI single back in the first inning. That's when all the damage was done.
I mean, it happened quick. I think you're over and under, maybe kind of in jeopardy.
Yeah, it might be. I got a little greedy, hoping for 5 runs. We're at 3 right now. All of them coming in the bottom of the first. That might be the best fastball of the game right there by Sullivan.
It was 93. That's good pitch there. Good fastball, kind of tailed back in.
High fly ball, deep left field, but playable. There's one that made it to the warning track.
But you're thinking that ball's gone.
In most parks it is. Not here at the Hoover Met. 3-0 our score.
The 2013 SEC Baseball Tournament on CSS is brought to you by Regions Bank, official bank of the SEC.
3-0 our score as we get ready for the top of the 7th. They say never judge a book by its cover. Well, never judge a baseball game by the first inning. It looked like LSU was about to run away with this thing off Charlie Sullivan. It's still 3-0, and Sullivan is still in the game.
He is, and what we talked about, this explosive offense for LSU, I mean, they started right out of the gate, hitting the ball hard and got 3 runs on the board. We're thinking that this is going to be a blowout from what we've seen in the past, but both pitchers have settled down, and for Glenn, he never really has been in much trouble.
Another long, deep fly ball, just a 330-plus foot out.
Yeah, that's all. It's get the ball in the air here, and chances are the ball's going to be caught. But just been a good game. We thought it was going to be a little bit more offense, but the pitchers have settled in, and in this park, that's really all you're looking for is to get a pitcher, throw strikes, be around the plate. Then if you get in a little trouble, you got to bear down and make sure that they hit your pitch.
Mikey White jumps on the first pitch and lofts it to center for Stevenson. He'll handle it for out number 2. Well, very quietly, Cody Glenn is working on a 4-hit shutout.
Yeah.
He kind of gets lost in the shuffle because you talk about Eads and Nola, then you talk about all the great bats in the LSU lineup. You lose sight of the guy who's had a very good season and who's pitching a gem thus far today.
Well, he is, and that's the success that a team has, as loaded as LSU is with their offense. But then when you take the back end of their pitching, break in those pitchers. I mean, just a tremendous job that Glenn has done today.
laced foul. Austin Smith, the first baseman, has flied out to center twice. We started with 12 teams here in Hoover. We're down to 8. It's double elimination from here on out. I'm a fan of the new format here. I just, to me, elimination games are what college baseball is all about in the postseason.
Well, you know, Monday when they had the coaches conference, that question came up to each coach, and when they voted on that last year, I think that
Smith gets hit on a pitch inside.
That set the standard here for what the SEC is doing, and every coach commented, you see a fastball there, it just kind of comes in, rides in on Smith. He couldn't get out of the way. But I think each coach made the comment that they think this is fair, this is good, and this is really the best way that you could handle this. Yeah. And they're looking for this to be set for several years.
I noticed the ACC has gone to 2 4-team pools. You go round robin, and the 2 winners of each pool play each other in the title game. That's another way of doing it.
Yeah. Well, I think that you've got 14 teams in the SEC, and naturally you'd love to have all 14 in the tournament. That might happen one day, but really you've got to reward the teams that are in this tournament, giving them the opportunity. And it makes for an exciting time.
Yeah.
If we could just get some more runs, it'd make it even better.
You mentioned that. 2-1. I don't mind number 13 and number 14 being left out. Honestly, having seen 13 and 14 over the years,
I agree.
I mean, a lot of times those teams are ready for the season to be over with, quite frankly. Up the middle, base hit. It's the first runner to reach second today for Alabama.
5 base hits, first one to go to second.
All started with a 2-2 pitch. A fastball that hit Austin Smith with 2 outs. Before that, Cody Glenn was just rolling.
Took a trip out to the mound, just kind of slow things down a little bit as LSU's bullpen. They got some pitchers going down there, start getting loose. For Glenn, I believe his longest outing is a little over 7 1/3 innings. But he's pitched a heck of a game today. Really, that 3-run first inning kind of make a pitcher relax a little bit. Get out there and throw strikes. You can see Nick Umbelow is in the bullpen for LSU. Are you okay?
I'm fine.
Okay.
Battling a little bronchitis.
Yeah, I'm just kind of worried about
No,
you.
I'm a gamer. It's going to take more than a hacking cough to knock me out of this booth.
It is rather steamy up here.
Just a bit. Just a bit. Got to pay $49.95 a month to get a sauna like this at a health club.
Yeah.
1-0 pitch at the knees for strike one.
Alex.
0-5-1 for the Tide, 3-7-0 for the Tigers. Alabama with its best scoring opportunity of the game against the pride of Houston, Texas, Cody Glenn. Slow curveball and a nice job by Miller to lay off. look in by Glenn. Right side. Oh, great play by the first baseman. Bang, bang, play at first, and they ring him up. That might draw an argument. Awfully close. What a job by Moore. Waits for his pitcher to cover. We'll have to take another look at that when we return.
2013 SEC Baseball Tournament on CSS. Time now for the Tony Chachere's Game Recap. Turn your same-ol into Creole with Tony Chachere's new sandwich sauces. Tony Chachere's makes everything taste great.
We've been stuck on 3-0 since the bottom of the first. That's when LSU got it all started. A ball misplayed by Miller in left led McMullen all the way to third. He would eventually come home on the RBI groundout by Laird. An RBI single by Ibarra. Great defense in this game. This is a 5-4-3 turned in by Alabama. Then in the fourth, LSU says, hey, we can play some D as well. 6-4-3 twin killing. And then in the seventh, Alabama threatening. Close play at first. And ringing him up is first base umpire Randy Harvey. Alabama 3 infield hits out of the 5 overall. Alex Bregman 3 for 3 today. 2 singles, a double, and a run scored. And on the mound, Cody Glenn has stolen the show for LSU. The left-hander has been very sharp. Tigers trying to get some insurance here in the home half of the 7th. It'll be the bottom third of the order. Moore, Ross, and Stevenson.
You know, and with the exception of that first inning, Sullivan has just really settled down. He's got control of his pitches after really not having that breaking ball off-speed stuff there early in the game, but has settled down, making some quality pitches and keeping LSU off balance.
Fastball in the air to left. We've had a lot of balls hit out there to left, but no success. Let's take another look at that bang-bang play in the last inning at first.
You're going to see first baseman Tyler Moore gets by. Now Miller's going to dive. Pitcher comes over. You make the call.
I thought he got his hand in there.
It looked like it was close. One more look from this side. Oh. Maybe the pitcher, Glenn, might have had that foot a split second. And it was still close, and it was a good call.
Well, people always say tie goes to the runner, but there's really nothing in the rule book that actually says tie goes to the runner.
I mean, as a bang-bang play, we saw something earlier in the game where Georgie Salem slid in, and the pitcher came across Glenn, and that with the slide, it gave Salem the base, because if he had been standing.
Off the pitcher and into foul ground, that's going to leave a mark on Charlie Sullivan.
You see the ball off his leg, and it just bounces over to first base, goes foul. You know, unfortunately, it hit him in the leg and nowhere else. I mean, if you're going to get hit, that is the place to get hit. I've been hit in the chest. I've been hit in the arm. I mean, I've hit people. But to get one off the shin, it's definitely not as bad as if it was somewhere else. Because that ball, it's like I've always said, when you're the pitcher on the mound and you release the ball, you become the ninth fielder, and you're in play there. And sometimes a pitcher is almost defenseless.
He'll get some time to throw some warm-up pitches here, make sure he's okay.
I got hit one time. I was pitching. I was in AAA, and I had a ball hit back to me. It was like it was. I even got a tape of it. It was like thud. You could hear the crack of the bat, and then it was just like a thud, and you could hear me gasping. I mean, the ball hit me right in the sternum. Came within the fraction of hitting me directly on the heart.
Not the same ball that Bo Jackson hit.
No,
You've taken a lot of shots to the chest.
That was to the ribs. It just shows you. I mean, if you're out there on that mound, I mean, anything can happen. And for me, I mean, I got hit right in the sternum. It was just like right here. It was like a bullet. I would just knock me flat. And that's the thing with pitchers. They're so close to the action once they hit them. And again, we talk about the bats, what they've taken away, but really it's for the safety of the players is why they've done that. It's just taking away the offense. So we're for the safety of the game.
Sure.
But I think the fans, the overall fan, would like to see more action.
Runner goes. He's gone. Great throw by Booth to gun him down at second base, and that'll end the inning for the Tigers in the 7th. On to the 8th we go. It is still LSU 3 and Alabama nothing.
SEC Baseball Tournament on CSS is brought to you in part by Third Shift Amber Lager. When beer is your calling, you never clock out.
New pitcher for LSU is Nick Rumbelow, number 38, a 6-foot, 180-pound junior out of Bullard, Texas.
He comes in here with a ERA of 3.6, 1 win, no loss. This will be his 26th appearance. Struck out 26, walked 13, ERA of 3.6 in 25 innings. Good hard thrower. He's coming in this situation. Really just got to hold Alabama right now. Give him another inning, and hopefully you can work your way to Chris Cotton, LSU closer. But you go out there and do your job and throw strikes and get outs, and you're going to get an opportunity to save this game.
Alabama has threatened a couple of times, but overall the offense has really been held in check. At least it was against Cody Glenn. I'm sure they won't miss him much. Now we'll see if the Tide can do any damage against Rumbelow. Cody Glenn leaves the game. He couldn't have pitched any better today. Just 5 base runners. Only struck out 2. Didn't need to strike out a bunch of guys.
He didn't have his greatest stuff, but his slider really, was missing his good sharp slider today. But still, you throw 93 pitches, go 7 innings in this heat. He's done he did his job. And if you look at LSU's pitchers, they have 14 pitchers with at least 1 decision. And, I mean, that's just tremendous. Talking about a pitching staff that's developing. And then you go out there today and your number 3 pitcher can pitch the way that he did.
Vincent hits a slicer. Racing near the line and making the catch is Laird. That was going to be a fair ball. That's a big play.
Shows the speed there of LSU, and just again it shows that the outfield, you can play a little bit shallower here. But for Laird, just good speed, and comes over and makes a good play.
Laird, just a freshman out of Monroe, Louisiana. And you try to find the weakness in LSU, because even good teams in college baseball have a weakness. I don't know what it is. They hit for power. Great starting pitching. They got a bullpen which features Chris Cotton, who came up with 12 saves, a 3-1 record, and a 1.62 ERA. They've got some good setup guys like the guy you see right now in Rumbelow. Not to mention Bourgeois. If there's a weakness, Joe, I don't know where it is.
Well, I mean, they're a solid ball club. I mean, you can't take anything away from them. I mean, but here again, you got to give Alabama credit. They have hung, with the exception of that first inning, Alabama has really played good. They just have not. Alabama's just not, when they've had the opportunities to have runners on base, they have not taken advantage of those situations.
Payoff, bounce to the left side, and it sneaks through right between third and short. First hit of the game for Roberts.
Here getting late in the game now. We're in the 8th inning. You got the top of the lineup up. You got Roberts on at first. You just see the ball just barely go through. Roberts does a good job here of just kind of, this ground's hard out in front of home plate. We've seen this on several balls that are hit. It hits that ground and just kind of takes off. There it just bounced through, and the left side of the infield there between Bregman and Ibarra, they just can't make the play, and Alabama's running on first.
Salem 1 for 3, an infield single in the 4th. Cousin of Emil Salem. Dad played for Alabama on the football team. A bullet to first. Bobbled. No play. Bama's in business here in the 8th.
There they are. A sharp ground ball to first. And Moore just kind of really, he's right there holding the runner on for one. And so the ball's just right there to him. He's hit hard enough. You see him coming off the base. Tries to stay down on it. Just kind of like a hockey goalie, just keeping the ball going between your wicket there, and unfortunately for him, the ball goes through, and Alabama's got a little mild threat going.
Alabama yesterday against Auburn rallied for 3 runs in the 8th.
And this is what we talked about earlier. For Alabama's offense, their success has been mainly off of the mistakes that the opposing team does. And Alabama's offense pressures the opposing team into those mistakes.
Overstreet 1 for 3. Slices one foul into the seats. And this is where, when you look up and down that Alabama lineup, they don't have that one staple on offense that really strikes fear into an opposing pitcher. I mean, they've got some good scrappy hitters, but there's not a guy that you just say, okay, I can't wait to get to him in the lineup, try to get something going here. Pitch down low, 2-1.
You can see Rumbelow, it really comes over the top. You watch his right arm, he almost goes to the ground, and that breaking ball, and his fastball, he'll get even lower. I mean, just really the torque that he gets out of his body and the push off he gets with his legs, and just power. And you can see on his fastballs, I mean, you watch him, the way he's throwing that ball, I mean, just good mechanics, straight over the top. And he's getting every ounce of power that he can from his upper body and through his legs. You know, it's like 80% of your pitching is through the power that you get from your legs. Everything else, you just want it to be in place between your hips, your shoulders, coming over the top the way he has.
Might be the pitch of the game for Alabama. 2 on, 3-2, 1 out. Bama running out of opportunities.
You start him?
I'm a gambling man by nature, so yes.
Okay.
But you'll lose more games than not by going on my strategy. They don't go. Ball is laced, but again, everything hit to left seems to go right at the left fielder, whether it's Rhymes or Miller.
And it's just dead. I mean, it's just, you get the ball up in the air, and out to left, it's just dead.
Final hope of the inning is Ben Moore, looking for his first hit. A ground out, a pop out, and a fly out in 3 trips to the plate. They might just try to get one more out of Rumbelow and then turn it over to their closer in the 9th.
Chris Cotton.
One ball, one strike.
Rumbelow, excuse me, don't see much of emotion out of him that you normally see in your regular pitcher. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. He's just getting every ounce that he can. Really, it's a good motion.
To second, positioned perfectly was Katz, playing near the bag, barely has to move to make the play, and Bama leaves 2 on the base paths. We go to the home half of the 8th. LSU still leads it 3-0. LSU leading Alabama. That's been our score since the end of the first inning. Coming up next, Texas A&M and Vanderbilt. The Commodores, the #1 seed, #1 team in the country, setting an all-time SEC record with 26 conference victories. Tim Corbin and company, they have been rolling throughout the regular season, just winning one series after another.
Well, we talked about LSU and the power that they've got, and Vanderbilt's just a machine. They just they've got all the cylinders burning right now. They believe in the program and what Tim Corbin has taught them. They've developed into a quality baseball team, and they put pressure on a defense that I have not seen in the league this year.
One and two. Top of the order up for LSU. McMullen, Laird, and Bregman. Vanderbilt's just fun to watch. They do a lot of things differently.
They do things moving runners over that you don't see from other teams. I noticed yesterday Auburn had an opportunity, had runners on first and second with 1 or no outs, and a deep fly ball to center field. The runner on second tags and goes to third. The runner on first held it first. Whereas in this field, you know that the ball is more likely going to be caught out there, so the runner on first should have been tagging going to second. I've seen Vanderbilt on several occasions take advantage of that situation by moving up both runners. And that's what I mean by their offense puts pressure on the opposing team's defense.
A leadoff walk to McMullen. As you see, Vandy #1 in RPI. 7.3 runs per game. Again, they don't hit a ton of home runs, but they will hit you to death. They'll base hit you to death.
Well, and it's like we talked about earlier. I mean, just say they're pitching between Beatty and Zomack. I mean, those guys are tremendous, and Beatty has one of the best changeups in the country. And he's already ready for the big leagues with his changeup.
Yeah.
There might be some work he needs to do as far as locating his fastball, but he just got a tremendous changeup.
Hit and run. 0-1.
Good job there by Laird protecting the runner.
I think Vanderbilt leads the nation over the last 10 years of players, particularly pitchers, turning down 7-figure salaries out of high school to attend college.
And you take P.J. Picario, pitcher that coming out of high school was a #1 draft choice, turned it down, ended up having Tommy John surgery, and came back last year, and then started to see, or this past winter, hurt his knee,
and really has just started to come around these last couple of weeks and being more effective to give them that third pitcher that Vanderbilt is going to need once they get into the regional play and the super regions and then going on to possibly on to Omaha.
Squaring and pulling it back is Laird on the 0-1 pitch.
Had a game last year when Picaro came back from the arm surgery, and up at Nashville they were playing Auburn, and you were just watching him pitch. He had the power, the good fastball, and it looked like he had not missed the last 10 months from that surgery.
1-2. It's situations like this that Vanderbilt never seems to fail on. Moving runners over. Hit and run.
Well, that's the discipline of Tim Corbett, and that's what he's taught his team. And I've heard him say they have bought into what he has taught them. And to have the caliber of team that they have, I mean, there's a good high fastball there. It's hard to lay off that pitch, but then Corbin just done a tremendous job. This fastball we've been talking about throughout the series, you just see it ball just riding up. Just a strong fastball by Sullivan, and really for Laird just doesn't have a chance to catch up to that fastball that's up above the letters. And for you good young pitchers that are out there, I just think that's an important pitch to have. That's in the zone within the plate, but it's a high pitch, but it's a very effective pitch.
Bregman, perfect today. 3 for 3, a run scored. Off the hands. It'll pop up to short center. And Salem hauls it in for out number 2.
Yeah, but about this time, Sullivan is looking back at that first inning every time he goes in the dugout. So, I wish I had me a couple of pitches back. Yeah. I wish I had my changeup and my breaking ball going at the time. Because, I mean, both pitchers, they just pitched a tremendous ball game today. Pitchers, they come out that you got to work through that first or second inning because you're not sure of your stuff when you come out of the bullpen. And for Charlie Sullivan today, he came out without an off-speed breaking ball. Or
Katz launches one deep left field and foul. That one did have home run distance.
Got a fastball there that was up and in on the zone. Those kids out there in left field there on that bank, they have the luxury of getting them a foul ball.
Well, they've been lonely out there.
They're just thinking another one's going to come now. They're all lined up there just waiting.
In the dirt, breaking for second, and safe. Oh, what, Booth did a heck of a job releasing the ball that quickly to even make that a close play.
Boy, it was. I mean, pitch was in the dirt, just got away from it a little bit. I mean, it's a hustle play. See, it's a breaking ball that's down in the dirt. He does a good job of blocking it, but does a better job of getting over to it as quick as he did to almost get McMullen out at second base.
Come, Ace, pick us up one right here.
I just assumed by the time he picked that up, he was going to put it in his back pocket.
Yeah.
High fly, deep center. Backing is Salem. Now has it measured. He stumbled a bit on the warning track, but hauls it in 400 feet away. One of the top freshmen in the SEC this year, Mikey White, will start things off in the top of the ninth when we return.
2013 SEC Baseball Tournament on CSS. Third Shift Amber Lager is proud to sponsor today's 9th inning. From a band of brewers whose passion didn't end when the day shift did. Third Shift. When beer is your calling, you never clock out.
We have reached the top of the 9th inning. Mike Morgan, Joe Beckwith with you here on CSS, the SEC Network. LSU up 3-0, and that means the Tigers are ready to bring in their stud closer, Chris Cotton, a former walk-on who has been sensational this year, leading the team with 12 saves, a 1.62 earned run average. And Joe, one of the best in the league.
Well, if you look at the top teams in the SEC, you're going to find somebody with that under their stats where it says SV, meaning save. You're going to find some top relievers that really have helped these teams get to that position. And you have got to, we've talked enough about the run production being down, and there's going to be close games, and as good as the SEC is, you have to have a man just like Mr. Cotton out there today.
You don't see a whole lot of closers that stand 5'10 and weigh 165 pounds, but that's the case for Cotton. Kind of a left-handed Craig Kimbrell. One interesting footnote, Cotton this year in a save situation against Alabama in the regular season blew the save. Gave up a 3-run homer. I guarantee Alabama remembers that, and so too does Chris Cotton. Alabama held to just 6 hits so far.
They've had their opportunities the last couple of innings, left runners on base in the 7th and 8th, 2 runners each inning.
2-2 pitch, got him. White set down, 1 away. Pitching or lack of offense or both have been the story thus far in the tournament. Look at the productivity from SEC play to the tournament thus far. Runs are down over 3 runs a game. We've only had 1 home run. ERA down nearly 2 runs a game. 2 extra base hits a game.
You know, that's pretty good information right there, just showing the what we've talked about, the depth of this field. I mean, it just takes away any extra inning heroics or late inning heroics as far as home runs. And this league has been built. You can just see that it's been built more on speed and your singles hitters.
Smith quickly down in the count. No balls, 2 strikes as the lefty deals. 1 after him. That was not a waste pitch.
These teams have had good success at the programs that they've built, and you really can't take anything away from the job that Maneri and Alabama, Gaspar's done, and the other teams. And so it's exciting baseball. It's fun to come out and watch it when you've got good quality baseball, on your campus, and you've got the national powers that the SEC does. I mean, it represents the conference great.
Defensive swing there by Smith to stay alive. Brett Booth waiting on deck. He does have 2 of Alabama's hits today. LSU looking for victory number 49 on the season. Popped up near first. Moore going to give way to the second baseman, Katz.
I mean, that ball starts out almost halfway between first base and the first base dugout, but everything has a tendency to come back towards the field. And first baseman Moore really overran it, but Katz comes back, and really it was his play after the ball had come back towards the infield.
Final hope for the Tide is Brett Booth. LSU crowd has come alive. Cotton with a breaking ball low. There's strike one. Winner of this ball game will play Arkansas. That'll be on Thursday. Swinging a drive down the left field line. If it's fair, it's trouble. It is a foul ball by about 3 feet.
If you're going to hit home runs, you definitely have to hit them down the line. I mean, that's the shortest distance.
Deuce is wild. Cotton with the motion and the pitch. And we'll do it again. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Again, double elimination from this point on, so Alabama will still be alive should they lose this game. On the ground, shortstop, Bregman. Tigers win it. 3-0 your final. They'll stay in the winner's bracket as they improve to 49-8. So the updated bracket, Ole Miss will meet Alabama in the loser's bracket. Again, later on today, we've got Vanderbilt and Texas A&M, Mississippi State, and South Carolina, so stay tuned for that as well. We'll get some final thoughts, put a bow on this one when we return from Hoover, Alabama. LSU 3, Alabama nothing, your final.